Darren McCarty grew up in Canada, just 40 minutes from Detroit, and loved hockey from the start.
Find your passion, find something that you just want more than anything.
Tonight's Hardcore Pawn. A new first family has taken over reality TV and the world of Pawn. That's right, Pawn.
For nearly a decade, Hardcore Pawn gave viewers an unfiltered look into the chaotic world of American jewelry and loan in Detroit. The show thrived on high-stakes deals and the explosive dynamics of the Gold family and their staff. They became beloved, larger-than-life characters, but behind the scripted-feeling drama were real lives filled with betrayals and tragedy. Fame and fortune couldn't shield them from scandal, health crises, or personal downfall. So what happened to the faces that suddenly vanished from our screens? Join us as we uncover the reasons 10 beloved Hardcore Pawn members left the show. Number 4 on the list will shock you. Number 10. Carlos Deals. If you watched the Chicago spin-off of Hardcore Pawn, then you remember Carlos. Viewers remember him as a security guard with one of the boldest personalities. Instead of standing at the counter or simply patrolling the shop, Carlos was part of the vibe that made the spin-off feel different. Whether it was confronting angry customers or standing up to his own bosses, Carlos made it pretty clear that he wasn't afraid of conflict, and the way he would dramatically walk out became a legendary action. The moment he stormed off the job, claiming he was underpaid for the dangerous work he faced daily, fans saw the real frustration behind his courage. But behind the scenes, Carlos was more than a security guard for a TV show. He had a life outside the pawn shop as a father and a friend, and that's why his story hurts the most. In 2014, tragedy struck when he was found unresponsive in his home. At just 48 years old, Carlos's life ended far too soon. Fans of the Chicago spin-off were crushed. Many remembered him as someone who brought intensity to every scene. His sudden passing left a hole in the Hardcore Pawn family, a reminder that behind every loud argument on TV, real lives were being lived and sometimes lost. Sadly, Carlos was not the only Hardcore Pawn member whose story ended in heartbreak. Number 9. Carl Bell. Carl Bell's journey in Hardcore Pawn is a story of talent wasted by poor choices. At the pawn shop, Carl seemed like a dependable employee. He worked hard, cracked jokes with customers, and became a recognizable face in the spin-off. But away from the spotlight, Carl had a dangerous habit: gambling. What started as fun quickly grew into something that consumed him, and his need for money pushed him to cross lines no loyal employee should ever cross. In 2014, Carl was arrested and charged with felony theft. The shocking accusation: stealing more than $40,000 worth of merchandise, including Rolex watches, from the very pawn shop that trusted him. Investigators pieced together the truth that Carl had been repawning the stolen items to feed his gambling addiction.
Gambling is used extensively all over the world to launder money.
For the shop owners, it was a painful betrayal. For fans, it was a bombshell. The man they'd cheered for on TV was suddenly in handcuffs, facing possible prison time. His exit from the show wasn't just a job lost, but a reputation destroyed. Yet, Carl wasn't stealing alone, and his partner in crime would shock you. Number 8. Jeremy Jackson. Jeremy Jackson, another worker at Hardcore Pawn Shop in Chicago,
former teen idol Jeremy Jackson is getting a second shot at fame.
Never expected his TV time would end in disgrace. He wasn't the loudest or most dramatic member of the team, but fans still recognized him as part of the busy shop environment. But Jeremy made the same mistake as Carl Bell. Investigators discovered he was tied to the same theft scheme that rocked the pawn business. As a part-time worker, Jeremy suddenly had high-value items to pawn. That raised red flags, and soon, authorities connected him directly to Carl's crimes. Jeremy was charged with felony theft. He was accused of helping steal and repawn valuable merchandise to support their gambling habits. His arrest shocked fans who had seen him as just another face in the shop. Instead, he became another reminder that sometimes the danger to a business doesn't come from rowdy customers, but from those behind the counter. Together, Carl and Jeremy's arrest nearly sank the reputation of Hardcore Pawn. Fans who once tuned in for drama now questioned how much of the chaos was real. Still, not every exit was due to crime. Some were the result of simple, stupid mistakes. Number 7. Christina. Back in Detroit, Christina was one of those employees who made the pawn shop run smoothly. As a window clerk, she handled paperwork and countless customer interactions. While she wasn't always at the center of the fights or drama, fans grew familiar with her steady presence in the shop. But Christina's story took a shocking and very public turn in Season 8. In an episode that stunned viewers, she was caught on camera stealing. The footage revealed her pocketing money during a transaction, a discovery that immediately turned her from a trusted employee into a suspect under the harsh lights of reality TV. Viewers watched in disbelief as the shop's management confronted her. Les Gold, who was never one to tolerate betrayal, made it clear that stealing from the store was unforgivable. Christina was arrested right there on the show, and the police escort out of the pawn shop became one of the most dramatic firings in Hardcore Pawn history. For fans, it was an uncomfortable moment. Christina wasn't a villain on the show. She wasn't loud or reckless like others, and that's what made her downfall so surprising. And while Christina was fired for theft, another employee was let go for behavior that was just plain bizarre. Number 6. Robo. When Hardcore Pawn first hit TV screens, one of the most unforgettable figures introduced was Robo, the pawn shop's very first head of security. Tall, broad-shouldered, and always sporting a stern expression, Robo was the kind of guy who looked like he had walked straight out of a boxing gym. His job was simple: keep order in a place where tempers often ran hotter than the shop's fluorescent lights. With customers yelling, throwing insults, and sometimes even trying to fight, Robo's presence was meant to be the answer. One of his most talked about scenes came in the very first season, when a furious customer stormed into the shop, demanding more money for his pawn television. The shouting escalated until the man tried to climb over the counter. Before anyone else could react, Robo stepped in like a brick wall. He grabbed the man by the shoulders, spun him around, and marched him straight out of the store. Fans online loved it, calling Robo the bouncer of Detroit and praising how effortlessly he handled the chaos. In those early days, it seemed like Robo was going to be the shop's enforcer for years to come. But Robo's time on the show didn't last long. Behind the scenes, his aggressive personality had caused problems with both customers and staff. The breaking point came during an off-camera incident that stunned even the Hardcore Pawn crew. Robo was sent home after biting another employee in what was described as an outburst of grossly inappropriate conduct. The nature of the incident quickly spread among fans, with many left scratching their heads. How did the tough security guy who kept customers in line lose his own self-control in such a strange way? Though Robo was briefly brought back after a suspension, the damage had already been done. He appeared a couple more times in Season 1, but the trust wasn't there anymore. The pawn shop needed someone who could intimidate customers without creating problems behind the counter. Robo disappeared from the show, leaving fans to wonder what could have been had he managed to rein in his temper. Some firings, though, weren't just about odd behavior, but about a huge breach of trust. Number 5. Joel, Big Joe Shannon. Among the colorful personalities on Hardcore Pawn, one towering figure always stood out: Joel Big Joe Shannon. As the head of security, he was the man trusted to keep the chaos under control, breaking up fights, and protecting the business with his booming voice and no-nonsense attitude. But behind that intimidating presence was a secret that would shatter his image. Big Joe's downfall came when he was caught in a scandal that blindsided everyone. He was arrested for stealing scrap gold on camera, a blatant betrayal that not only cost him his position, but also his place on the show. For viewers, his sudden disappearance left a bitter aftertaste, replacing respect for a fan favorite with disappointment. While Big Joe's exit was due to greed, the next departure was a choice to build something new. Number 4. Ashley Gold. Ashley Gold didn't just work at the pawn shop, she was born into it. As the daughter of Les Gold, she was the razor-sharp manager who could outtalk tough customers and calm storms, and soon she became the glue that held the high-pressure environment together. But Ashley wasn't just about confrontation. She also had a business-savvy side, often seen negotiating smart deals and stepping in when her brother Seth made decisions she didn't agree with. The sibling rivalry between Ashley and Seth became one of the show's trademarks. Whether they were arguing about who should approve a deal or clashing over how to manage staff, their back and forth brought a layer of family drama that fans couldn't get enough of. Still, over time, viewers noticed that Ashley's presence on the show began to fade. What most people didn't know was that behind the scenes, Ashley was rethinking her future. The pawn shop had been her life since childhood, but she was also a mother and a woman with ambitions beyond the family business. After the series ended, Ashley made the bold decision to walk away from American Jewelry and Loan entirely. Instead of continuing under her father's shadow, she launched her own online jewelry business,
Hardcore Pawn, and now she has her own line of gorgeous jewels.
ashleygold.com. However, some departures weren't about ambition, but about a devastating betrayal. Number 3. Rich Pyle. When Hardcore Pawn first aired, Rich Pyle was the calm force amidst the chaos. As the store manager, viewers admired his ability to bring order to the unpredictable environment. What fans didn't see was the deep history. Rich and Les Gold were partners forged through 25 years of battles in Detroit's toughest pawn shop. Rich's job at American Jewelry and Loan was technically as a floor manager, but fans quickly saw he was much more than that. He had a unique ability to calm down angry customers, often stepping in after a heated argument between Les, Seth, or Ashley and a frustrated client. But it wasn't all smooth sailing. Rich often found himself caught in the middle of the Gold family's arguments. There were times when Les questioned his loyalty, especially if Rich sided with Ashley in disputes against Seth. On more than one occasion, Rich admitted he felt like the middle child of the pawn shop, part of the family, but not really family. That tension eventually became one of the reasons his role began to shift. Then came one of the most shocking moments for fans: Rich's sudden firing. In one unforgettable scene, Les called him into the office and told him his time at the pawn shop was over. No warning, no soft landing, just out. Viewers were stunned. For someone who had been such a fixture on the show, his exit felt abrupt and almost cold. Many fans took to social media to express their outrage, with some even threatening to stop watching the series. That kind of bond should have been unbreakable. Yet in 2012, everything collapsed. A secret emerged that shocked everyone. Rich had been dipping into company money for years. The revelation left Les devastated, and the trust that had built their friendship was shattered overnight. He was immediately fired, and his departure was a sobering lesson that sometimes your closest ally can be your biggest enemy. But while Rich was fired for betrayal, another fan favorite left feeling betrayed by himself. Number 2. Bobby Janiak. Bobby Janiak was one of those unforgettable faces on Hardcore Pawn, known as the man who could turn any tricky deal into a win. For 3 intense seasons, he was a key part of the show's success, handling money with lightning-fast focus and a serious demeanor. What many didn't realize was how much work went into Bobby's role, both as an employee and as part of a reality TV show. His day often started long before the cameras rolled. He would help set up jewelry cases and make sure the storefront was ready for a wave of customers. Then, the producers and audio crew would wire him with a microphone and send him back out to do his real job of selling and negotiating. Sometimes he would be pulled into a big deal segment for TV. But Bobby always reminded people that he was an employee first. Unlike some reality stars, Bobby never got paid just for being on television. His paycheck came from his job at the pawn shop, not from fame. That fact would later weigh heavily on him. By 2016, after years of long hours and being part of a show watched by millions, Bobby admitted he felt taken advantage of by Les Gold. He didn't feel valued the way he should have been, and instead of staying bitter, he made the bold choice to walk away. His exit was one of the cleanest in hardcore pawn history. He wasn't fired, he wasn't arrested. He left on his own terms, trading reality TV for a chance at something new. In the years since, Bobby has reinvented himself completely. He worked as a spokesperson for a Michigan automotive company, dabbled in another reality show called Wrench Wars, and then shifted toward a creative career as a voiceover artist, live streamer, and even merchandise seller. Calm and unapologetically himself, Bobby proved that sometimes the most powerful move is not staying in the spotlight, but choosing when to walk away from it. And finally, the most unexpected exit of them all. Number 1. Darren McCarty. No one expected to see NHL legend Darren McCarty behind the counter at a pawn shop. Known as the enforcer for the Detroit Red Wings, Darren shocked fans when he appeared on Hardcore Pawn to sell taxidermied animals. Les Gold, always quick to spot opportunities, was impressed. Right there on the spot, he offered Darren a job as an entry-level pawnbroker. For a short time, fans dreamed of seeing the hockey tough guy in pawnshop battles. But Darren's appearance was never meant to be permanent. It was a fun TV moment, not a career change. And soon after, he went back to his life outside of pawnbroking. Even though his time on the show was short, Darren's cameo became one of the most talked-about moments in hardcore pawn history. It proved that sometimes the show wasn't just about money or drama, it was about surprising connections to Detroit's culture. Which of these Pawn Stars stories surprised you the most? Share your thoughts with us in the comments section. Remember to like, share, and subscribe for more. Also, click the next video showing on your screen. You will enjoy it.